to happen to anyone else. I was gone for 1 day. I was gone for 1 day. So I'd like to proceed now.
Yes,
Given that
I actually confirmed that in fact Senator Cayetano was listed for interpellation, and I was informed that we had a timeline, and I just followed orders.
but that timeline includes my right to make my amendment, and I am with Viber and WhatsApp. I am a call away. So nakakagulat lang. Again, I have been in the Senate for almost 20 years. We have always, I have always tried to act with courtesy, with respect, and to me, it's basic courtesy na somebody's name is there for how many days. Hindi naman ako nakaabala, hindi naman ako nag-request ng i-postpone para sa akin. Basic courtesy po. Nabigyan niyo ako ng opportunity na gawin yung amendment ko or tawagan niyo ako kung gusto kong i-submit at ibigay sa inyo. So when you say na sumusunod lang, sana kasama dun sa sinusundan yung rules, yung courtesy din sa gustong mag-amend, na mabigay din ng amendments. Yun lang. So I'm ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Sure.
So my amendment, Your Honor, has to do with, and by the way, if I may just, no, hindi na rin ako nag-interpellate because to save the sponsor time, I will just make my explanations during the time of amendment. Kaya again, medyo bothersome lang na hindi ko na nga magawa yun kung hindi pa tayo nag-reopen ngayon. So ngayon, gagawin ko na yung gusto kong gawin, which is to explain why the existing provision in the bill is inconsistent with the civil code provision and the policy that a woman may use her maiden name. So ako po, ang pangalan ko is Pilar Juliana S. Cayetano. Hiwalay po ako, pero kahit nung hindi ako hiwalay, kahit na nung kasal ako, I always use Cayetano. The civil code, our laws of the land, recognize that, okay? Now, in the passport law, may provisions dyan which somehow impairs that right. And then in the existing bill that we are tackling, nalilimitahan din ang paggamit ng maiden name ng isang babae. So gusto ko tong i-rectify. Yun lang naman ang purpose ko. Gusto kong magbigay ng amendment kung saan we will be consistent with the civil code that allows a woman to use their maiden name. As a background, to also keep it simple, after the sponsor, I believe, was informed of the specific concern I had, some of the resource persons, including, well, specifically DFA, came over to discuss with my staff on their concern that pag pinayagan daw natin na ang isang babae na gumagamit ng married name, baguhin yon at ibalik niya sa kanyang maiden name. So from married name, ibabalik niya sa maiden name niya, baka daw mahirapan sila pag may mga whole departure order. Sabi ko naman, pareho lang naman yung speech ni Senate President 2 weeks ago, na kung gusto mong sugpuin yung trafficking, hindi mo naman pwedeng ang solusyon mo, pagbawal mo lahat, para mo nang pinagbawal lahat ng bumabiyahe, di ba? To use their maiden name is a right. So, give us, we can work with language that will ensure that hindi naman whimsical, hindi naman capricious, hindi naman yung ngayon married name, next month balik ako sa maiden name, next year balik na naman ako sa, hindi naman huyo, hindi naman ganon. So, to make this whole discourse simpler, I believe the Office of the Senate President, along with the sponsor, made some changes to the language I propose, and I'm okay with it. And with the sponsor's permission, I'll just read it into the record.
Yes, please.
Okay. So, on page 10, lines 10 to 16, sorry, delete lines 10 to 16 and replace with, where do I start? The whole thing there. Letter F, for a woman who wishes to revert to the use of her maiden name, a duly authenticated birth certificate by the PSA, provided that she can only revert to her maiden name once, and all her other existing identification cards and pertinent documents shall likewise reflect her maiden name. We submit.
Thank you. It's accepted.
Thank you. And just to reiterate, Your Honors, that ang objective natin is to support yung request ng ating agencies na hindi sila mahirapan na iba-ibang pangalan, iba-ibang ID. Hindi naman yun ang gusto natin. We are just securing the right of a woman to use her maiden name. Thank you very much to the sponsor. Thank you, Mr. President.
Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm sorry.
there's an amendment and accepted by the
Yes,
sponsor. We
the
just like to
second paragraph
Okay.
is accepted in toto from Senator Cayetano with the quibble that we retain the first paragraph still. The first paragraph referring to the different situations involving an annulment, a nullity, legal separation, the different causes that are recognized, or the death of a husband. Because it is important that we have the accompanying documents like the certificate of death in case of the death of a spouse, or the certificate or report of a marriage in the event of annulments and nullity. If we can just retain the first paragraph, but we accept the amendment of the good senator in toto in the second paragraph.
I'm just asking for a copy so I can see how
here.
it reads. Here. Is that it on the screen?
It's actually on the screen. It's lines 10, as you indicated. It's lines 10 to 16, as the good senator indicated. May we retain that, but in addition, we will put as paragraph 2 the reversion referred to by the good senator.
My issue, I'm not saying that, I'm not yet stating that I am not amenable, but the main reason for my amendment is precisely, you do not need these events to happen for you to retain your maiden name. These are not required. So my concern is, we may be creating a situation na parang we're amending the civil code. And that is how statutory construction works, because under the rules of statutory construction, they give weight to a special law. So when you introduce these facts of life, yung may divorce siya, you're saying that that's when she can change her name. I'm saying that the general rule is, you can change your name. You don't need these things to happen. Not to mention that what brought this whole discussion up was the minority floor leaguers' question on pag legally separated ba, can you change your name? Napaisip din ako no, because you are still married. But wait, the general rule is you can use your maiden name. Pero si legal separation is not in the same line as all of this, kasi in all of these situation mentioned, wala na siyang asawa. Pero si legal separation, may asawa pa siya. So iba pang ang animal ang legal separation. So I need a moment, and I mean, to figure
Perhaps
out.
we can discuss this. We've all undergone this same problem, and I have absolute personal
it's not a problem
knowledge
for
of
me.
this.
I've always used my maiden name.
Maybe
Then
we
my
maybe we
death
can
of a
suspend
spouse.
session for you both to discuss.
No,
Session
the
shall I
concern,
suspend?
if I may, before suspension, if I may, the concern here is that the first paragraph allows the woman or the widow, for example, to remarry and change her name to the second husband's name, for example, and obtain a passport in that second husband's name. So that would become a possibility, whereas without the first paragraph, she would no longer have a right to do so.
Yes, and that's why I said I need time to look at it, because that is obviously a valid situation.
Mr. President.
Yes, session suspended for 1 minute.